Welcome and welcome back. If you're returning, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. Like I always say, it sounds completely different in my head, but I'm going to get it together. So, simply, if you're returning, I thank you for watching and sticking with me this long. If this is your first time, welcome. Now, for those this is your first time, I don't like to keep anyone waiting. I like to get straight into it. And if this is your first time, all of my recipes have to be easy, tasty, delicious, and fast to make. So not a lot of ingredients, not a lot of chopping. Perfect for the person who wants to get a nice, delicious meal or tasty treat on the table for themselves or their family in a little bit of time. So let's get started. For those who are new to my channel, I always make dishes from like all over, from the Caribbean to Asian dishes, South African dishes, all over. But I realized I don't think I've ever made a Southern dinner or a Southern dish. And when I'm speaking of Southern, I'm speaking about in the United States. So like South Carolina, Florida, Mississippi. And so today I'm decided to make fried chicken. Now there's going to be many recipes for fried chicken. So I'm going to make fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, and string beans. Now, full disclosure, we usually don't use string beans. It would be collard greens. But like I tell everyone, it costs a fortune right now for groceries. I won't even get into that. So I'm going to use string beans. And this brand happened to be on sale, so that is what we're using. I can tell you over and over about how expensive groceries are, but I'm sure wherever you are, prices have went up. So, and again, let me know where you're watching me from and how prices are where you are. So now I'm going to come in with flavor oil. What is flavor oil? Well, that's just oil that I cooked with before, and I always save it up. And why am I doing that? I'm using this because, one, everything do double duty in my house because of the price. So there we go with that. But I always put the oil on first, or you could use butter because the seasonings will stick to whatever it is the oil is on. And I'm using complete seasoning. And what is in complete seasoning, you're asking? Okay. So this is garlic. This is onion, coriander, what else? Black pepper and cumin. Now, I know some people say they don't like coriander or cumin, but when it's all together, you really don't taste it. It just tastes delicious. So I'm going to give a sprinkle. And I'm going to get this on the eye. And it's going to take no time. That's one reason why I love to do string beans. If I did collard greens, and like I said, that is what you would use for a real Southern meal, collard greens, which is a green leafy vegetable. It would take much longer to cook than string beans. So, but now collard greens is like $2 a pound. And just for reference, collard greens used to be 69 cents a pound. So a big difference between 69 cents and $2 a pound. Okay, so I'm going to get this on the stove. So like I was saying, I like to control how much pepper I put in my macaroni and cheese. So I don't use a lot. I don't use ingredients that have pepper already in it because I want to control how much pepper. So this is without pepper. And this is the top. So if you're in the market, because there's different type of adobos, you want to get the one with the blue top. I think there's orange, red, and all of that. So anyway, this week, like I was saying, I had to send some money to some loved ones so they be able to get a meal on the table because their funds was running short, and that can happen to anyone. I'm going to have a link in the description if you want to send money to anyone. It is a referral link, so I will get a little portion, and it will help the channel. And again, if you want to send money for any reason, not just for food, but just for any reason, you can use that link. Okay, so now we went in with the adobo, and I'm using white pepper. Why am I using white pepper? Well, I didn't have black pepper, but also white pepper isn't as spicy as black pepper. So just a little. Just enough. Okay, that's that. And I would never use that much if it was black pepper. Okay, there we go. Hey, guess what? I forgot to starve the cheese. Give me 1 second. I get it. Also, I didn't completely cook the noodles. You don't have to. You don't have to cook them completely done because remember, they're going to go in the oven and continue to cook. So you just follow the instructions on your box of noodles. So I'm using sharp, but really, I would tell you to get mild or medium. You don't have to get sharp. And I'm only using this brand again because it's on sale. If you have a brand that you like, Kraft or anything else, go with that. But the cheese makes the difference. You have to have cheese in macaroni and cheese. Have you ever ate macaroni and cheese and it didn't have enough cheese? Yeah, I didn't really like it too much. So I'm going to go heavy on the cheese. Everyone in my house love it, including myself. Please take a moment, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours. I just don't have the watch hours. And I'm using blend. And again, simply because it's on sale. But these are the flavor of cheese I like. You can use what you like. And I'm just breaking it up. Now, you don't have to buy it like this. You can buy it in a block. The block was a little bit too expensive this month. But the block is a little bit better. So I'm going to keep stirring. And again, this was very warm. Yeah, so please take a minute, hit the like button, give this a thumbs up. It helps the channel. It helps other people find this video. If you can binge watch some of my old videos, that would really help. Or just share the video. Just leave it on and share it. I'm going to put a little bit more. I'm going to put a lot more actually. And the reason why I like a blend is because this is more than one type of cheese. So it's mild cheddar, Asiago cheese, Monterey Jack cheese. So it's more than one type of cheese. And that's what I love. Because if I had to do it the other way, I would have to buy each one. And again, not in the budget right now. So how has life been treating everyone else? And how do you help, how do you put a meal on the table that your family loves and still keep it in budget? I mean, I'm not talking about like steak and stuff, Hey, if you can do that, go right ahead. Okay, last but not least, milk. Now, if you have canned milk, even better, which is evaporated milk, it's even better that you use evaporated milk. I didn't have any. This was left over from lunch. So I'm using that. There we go with that. See, simple, everyday ingredients, nothing, so outrageous that it wouldn't fit your budget or you wouldn't be able to find it. Now, at this point, you can actually taste and make sure all your seasonings are the way you want it to taste. Because remember, nothing in here is raw. There's nothing in here that will make you sick. So I'm going to take a little bit and see. Yeah, I'm going to come back in with a little bit more adobo. And again, measurements and ingredients will be in the description box. And because this is already almost done, right, the noodles, we just want to put it in the oven enough to melt the cheese. That's all. And I'm going to come back in with more cheese. Because again, why not? Okay. Now, I know on certain channels they tell you to make a roux. What is a roux? With flour and butter. Do you have to do that? No, you don't have to. You can, but you don't have to. You can still make a delicious macaroni and cheese without making a roux. Last but not least, I'm going to put in 1 egg. And this is why I tasted it before I did the egg. Once the egg is in, can't taste. Okay, so there we go. And that's just to help bind it. And I don't want to put a lot of eggs. Some people put more than one. I don't. If you put a lot of eggs, the cheese won't melt all the way through. It'll be stuck in certain places because the egg will stop it from, going completely through the dish. Okay. Clean this spoon off. Not the most elegant way of doing it, but it gets the job done. I have a baking pan. Nothing special here, but this is what I'm going to use. And I'm going to spray it. Now, do you need to spray your baking dish? No. Especially, oops, sorry about that. Especially if you have one that won't stick. But I'm not convinced that mine won't stick. You can also use oil if you want. I'm just going to get this a spray off camera. And I guess that's it. Okay. So now, let's put that here. And here we go. Now you can use a bigger dish if you want. And I probably should have. But this isn't a problem for me because I have another dish that I can use. I'm going to put that aside. And I'm going to top this with a little bit more cheese. Because again, why not? And no one likes a macaroni and cheese without any cheese on it. I'm telling you. Like in my family, they would just look at it while it's on a plate and just be like, okay, we're not eating this. I'm going to put this in the oven and I'm going to put it on low, like 200. And maybe for 5 to 10 minutes, less than that. And again, it's just to melt the cheese because everything else is basically done. Okay. Now, you remember I said this was a southern meal, a fried chicken southern meal. So here goes the fried chicken part. So let me show you what I used on my chicken. Now, again, everyone have something different to put on their fried chicken. I have chicken bouillon. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. It's chicken, so why do you have to add chicken bouillon? I don't know about you, but when I taste chicken now, it hardly tastes like chicken. I don't know what they're doing to the chicken, but it doesn't really taste like chicken anymore. So I always add that to it. And again, my trusted Adobe, Blue Top, no pepper. And like I said earlier, I like to control how much pepper I put into it. And Sazon. Now there's many different types, but I always get the one with this one. This is the one I always get. And again, there's different ones, but try to get this one if you can. It has a really, like, I don't know, this distinct flavor. It's delicious and it gives the chicken such a wonderful color. And of course, you can use black pepper. I didn't have any black pepper, so I'm using white pepper. But again, you can use black pepper. Now, the reason why I'm showing you each one of those is because I always put it in a little container like this. So I don't have to be touching it with chicken hands. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to sprinkle this on the chicken. And I have thighs and legs, drumsticks. And I tell you why. Because it was on sale. Simple as that. It was on sale, so I went in with that. If you can get wings, I usually use wings. But again, I'm not even going to go into prices of wings. It's almost like getting a steak dinner. You know, chicken used to be 49 cents a pound. Now it's up to $2 a pound, depending on what time of the month you go. So I'm doing thighs and drumsticks. But hey, you could get wings. Go ahead and do wings. Now I'm just continue to like season. It's already seasoned, but just to make sure that the chicken is well coated. And I also put the seasoning on my chicken and not in a batter. Because you ever eat it when the batter falls off the chicken or when you go and bite into the flesh of the chicken and there's no flavor on it? Yeah, I can't stand that. So I actually season the chicken itself and not the batter. And the batter, I mean the flour. So I actually season my chicken. Now I wash my chicken in vinegar, and I know everyone have their own idea about washing meat. So this is just a cloth that I keep, a piece of towel with some a little bit of bleach and water, so I can always just clean my hand when I'm not at the sink. So I'm going to do that off camera. I'm going to continue to do that. Yeah, so I wash my chicken as I do all my meats with just regular white vinegar and a little bit of water, a little bit of vinegar. Rinse the chicken, pat it dry, and you're good. Okay. So as you can see, I have the oil over there cooked, just, getting hot for us. And now, let me set this to the side. Usually I use self-rising flour. Didn't have any this month. So I'm using all-purpose. Now, if you have a brand that you like, go ahead and use the brand of flour that you like. The difference between all-purpose and self-rising. Well, self-rising have salt, baking soda, and baking powder. All-purpose do not. That's the most simplest explanation of all-purpose. Now, I'm going to come in with cornstarch. And you're thinking, why do you need to add cornstarch if you're frying chicken? You ever realize when you eat chicken, some chicken is real crispy and others is not, kind of soggy? Well, cornstarch makes it real crispy. So that's why I'm using cornstarch. But you don't have to. You don't have to add cornstarch to your batter. And I'm just stirring it up, the flour and the cornstarch, before I put the chicken in. Okay, there we go. Now from here, everything it's going to go kind of fast. And I don't even know why I really cleaned my hand, because I'm going to have to do it again. I'm sorry about the motorcycle. But as you can see, I think my oil is ready. Yes, see. Yes, it is. And I'm just using, regular oil, nothing special. I believe that's vegetable oil. And after a while, like I would use corn oil, vegetable oil, whatever oil is on sale for the month. And that's what you want to see. You want it to start frying immediately when you drop the chicken in. You don't want it to sit in the oil, because it will become soggy and not really that tasty. Okay. So one more in. There we go. Now, I'm going to go to the sink. And you can watch that fry while I do that. Thank you. Okay, so this chicken has been frying for quite a while. I would say about 15, 20 minutes. And I'm just going to take it out and drain it. Let me put it on a little pan. Let me bring it over here so you can see it. I'm just getting it out of the oil. There we go. Now, that is so bad. Look how much that shrunk. Can you believe that's a chicken thigh? I mean, what did they give me? Biddies? And that's a drumstick? Unbelievable. But we're about to put together a wonderful Southern fried chicken meal. So we're going to come in with the fried chicken. And we're going to come in with our macaroni and cheese. And we're going to come in with our string beans. And again, I use string beans instead of collard greens. Yes, I know those from the South who are watching probably saying string beans isn't really a Southern dish. It wouldn't go with a Southern meal too much, more like collard greens, but I already explained why we're not doing collard greens. So give me 1 second. I'm going to come back and we're going to put this meal together. So there we have it, a delicious Southern meal, macaroni and cheese, string beans, fried chicken. I find myself cooking more meals from home because prices are just outrageous. And, everyone is trying to save a dollar here, a dollar there. I do have a link in the description box if you want to send money to your family or loved ones for any reason. Not just to put food on the table, but just to help them out in these trying times. It is an affiliate link, so I would get a couple of coins, which would really help me and help this channel. I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours. So please like, subscribe, share the video. Look at this delicious American Southern meal. And when I say Southern, I just have to say the U.S. so you know where the Southern part comes. So, for example, if I say a Southern meal and you say, that's not a Southern Italian meal, a Southern Italy or something like that. No, I'm speaking about the U.S. So I never know where you're watching me from, but I would love to know. So we have the macaroni and cheese. We have the string beans and the juicy fried chicken. You see that wonderful color? I don't know if it's coming through. But yeah, that's because of the nice seasoning and it's nice and simple. So until next time, enjoy.